Okay, biology class. This is the second part of your chapter 23A notes. I was not able to fit all of my notes together in one section and have it be the right length for what they wanted. So I'm going to have to do this separate one. We're going to pick up with the brain. It talks about our brain weighing 3 pounds, about the average adult brain weighing that. 20% of the blood is going to be reaching that from your heart. It's a pinkish gray color. We also have gray matter, which is a tissue that's part of your brain, and white matter, the deeper tissue that's myelinated. That means it has the axons from the nervous system attaching into it, weaving into it. We're also going to look about here a list of the divisions of the brain, right? So each part of the brain has a specific job that it's going to do, and we're just going to list them here, and then we'll go through them. So your cerebrum, your cerebellum, medulla oblongata, the thalamus and hypothalamus, the pons, and the midbrain. And they're just going to give us a little bit of a brief summary about what each of these parts is and what they do. So your cerebrum, there are two hemispheres of your brain, your right and your left. They're going to be connected together by the corpus callosum, and they have different texture of gyri and fissures that are going to make them up. The cerebral cortex is the outer gray matter. This is where your conscious activity happens. Your brain is going to be broken down into 4 lobes: your temporal lobe, the frontal lobe, the parietal lobe, and the occipital lobe. The thalamus is going to be the center of the brain, kind of the relay station that's going to help us to discover if an impulse is important, that kind of a thing. The hypothalamus is responsible for regulating your body temperature, how much fluid balance that you need, whether you're hungry or not. It's going to control your pituitary gland. When we talk about in the next chapter that endocrine system, we're going to see how the endocrine system is combined together along with the nervous system, and they work hand in hand. So the hypothalamus forms 2 hormones. The midbrain is for orientation of your head, for your posture, for your vision and hearing reflexes. The pons is also known as the bulging bridge. This is for your breathing. It's involuntary. You don't control this. It's happening and not necessarily something that you can control voluntarily. Even if you hold your breath till you pass out, your body's going to pick up with the breathing. Okay, reflex center as far as chewing, your facial expression, responses to sound, your eye movement, all controlled there in that pons section. Medulla oblongata is a relay between your spinal cord and your brain. It's containing your breathing and your heart cardiac center. Controls some of the reflexes as well. Your cerebellum is the second largest part of the brain. It's similar in structure to the cerebrum, and it's going to be responsible for regulating activities stimulated by the rest of the brain. So this is going to be for coordination, completely involuntary here. There's a short section here that talks about some of the different problems that can happen related to the brain. One is cerebral palsy, another encephalitis, epilepsy, and multiple sclerosis. So these are some of the things that we could say would be difficulties. Let me just give a little bit of a synopsis here. So cerebral palsy would be when somebody has maybe some paralysis here. They can't maybe they've had a damage that happened at birth, and so it affects their ability to move on their own. Encephalitis is an inflammation on the brain. It can happen as a result of other diseases that happen. Epilepsy, people might experience convulsions when they have this. There's a part of the brain that gets injured. And multiple sclerosis would be when there's a patch or a section of brain tissue that gets hardened and is no longer as flexible as it used to be. There's also some deterioration that happens in the myelin sheath that goes around the outside of the nerves and the neurons, and it interferes with the body's ability to send messages to the brain. Okay, just one more section here of the page. The spinal cord, which is going to be looking sort of like a butterfly here. We're looking down through the center of the spinal cord, and the central canal is right there. We see the white matter around the outside and the gray matter there. The peripheral nervous system is going to be where we connect and collect all of the responses to the world around us. We have 12 pair of cranial nerves, 31 pair of spinal nerves. This is going to be what collects information from all of our sensory organs. It's going to pass those messages along to your brain, right, your central nervous system, and then your brain is going to send messages back to the body through the motor division. So that would be like your responses to what you're feeling. The somatic system is the voluntary part. That's your skeletal muscles, right? When you walk or run, that's the part you're using. The autonomic or autopilot is going to be the involuntary. That's going to control your organs and how they respond. Okay, we will pick up, this is the 12B, we'll pick up with that at a later date.